What if Alice entered a virtual reality prison, and the only way to escape was surviving a world designed to drive people insane? After being falsely accused of cybercrime, Alice is sentenced to a secret experimental prison hidden inside a hyper-realistic virtual reality system called Wonderland. Inside, time moves differently, memories become unreliable, and prisoners slowly lose their minds, trapped inside endless digital illusions. And near the end of this story, Alice discovers the horrifying truth about Wonderland and why nobody who enters is ever supposed to escape. Alice never expected her life to end with a single phone call. One moment, she was an ordinary university student living quietly in Seoul. The next, government agents stormed her apartment, accusing her of participating in a massive cyber attack against Korea's financial system. Alice tried explaining she was innocent. Nobody listened. The evidence against her looked perfect. Bank records, encrypted messages, security footage, everything pointed directly at her. But the strangest part? Alice had never seen any of it before. Within days, she disappeared from public records completely. No trial, no prison sentence, no lawyer. Officially, Alice no longer existed. That's when she first heard the word Wonderland. At first, she assumed it was some kind of rehabilitation program, but the moment the headset locked onto her face, everything went black. When Alice opened her eyes again, she stood alone inside a massive neon city glowing beneath a blood-red sky. Floating clocks filled the air above her. Crowds moved strangely through the streets, and giant screens repeated the same message endlessly: "Welcome to Wonderland." Nothing felt normal. Gravity shifted randomly. Buildings changed shape when she looked away. Even people's faces flickered unnaturally sometimes. Then suddenly, a smiling man appeared beside her. Tall, elegant, completely insane. "The White Rabbit welcomes you." Before Alice could react, armed figures appeared everywhere, and people started running. That was Alice's first lesson inside Wonderland: never stay still too long, because Wonderland constantly changes the rules. Alice quickly learned the horrifying truth about the system. Wonderland wasn't a game, it was a digital prison designed to psychologically break dangerous prisoners. Every environment adapted to fear, every illusion manipulated memories, and the longer someone remained connected, the harder it became separating reality from simulation. Most prisoners eventually lost their identities completely. That's why nobody escaped, because eventually they forgot they were trapped at all. At first, Alice focused only on survival. Avoid violent sectors. Trade information carefully. Never trust smiling people, especially not the White Rabbit. Because unlike the others, he wasn't a prisoner. He helped design Wonderland itself. And now he seemed strangely interested in Alice specifically. The deeper Alice explored the simulation, the stranger things became. Entire districts repeated endlessly like broken loops. Some prisoners remembered events that never happened. Others claimed years passed despite only entering recently. Then Alice discovered something terrifying. Inside Wonderland, time moved differently. One day in the real world equaled nearly 6 months inside the simulation, which meant prisoners trapped for years mentally experienced lifetimes. That's how Wonderland destroyed people. Not physically, psychologically. And now Alice understood why the government secretly used it. A broken prisoner never fights back, but something about Alice wasn't reacting normally to the system. She remembered details other prisoners forgot. She noticed hidden glitches inside environments, and occasionally, Wonderland itself malfunctioned around her. That should have been impossible, unless someone altered her memories before entering. The White Rabbit eventually revealed another horrifying truth. Alice wasn't sent into Wonderland randomly. Someone powerful intentionally placed her there. Because before her arrest, Alice unknowingly discovered classified files connected to a government surveillance program hidden inside Korea's digital infrastructure. And instead of killing her publicly, officials erased her quietly inside Wonderland, just like hundreds of others before her. That's when Alice finally understood Wonderland wasn't built to rehabilitate criminals. It was built to disappear inconvenient people forever. But the deeper she investigated, the more unstable Wonderland became around her. Entire streets glitched violently. Prisoners vanished randomly, and hidden messages started appearing throughout the system. "Wake up, Alice." At first, she thought she was hallucinating, until she met someone impossible, a prisoner named Hatter. Unlike everyone else, Hatter remembered everything. Every simulation reset, every prisoner erased, every secret hidden inside Wonderland. Because according to him, he'd been trapped there for over 20 real-world years. Mentally, he experienced centuries, and slowly, Wonderland drove him insane. But before losing himself completely, Hatter discovered something critical. Every virtual prison requires a central control system. Destroy the core, and Wonderland collapses entirely. That became Alice's new goal. Escape wasn't enough anymore. She wanted to destroy Wonderland permanently. But the White Rabbit already anticipated this. Because secretly, he wasn't protecting the system, he was trapped inside it too. Years earlier, the government uploaded his consciousness permanently into Wonderland after he helped build the project. Now he could never leave. That's why he smiled constantly. Wonderland already broke him long ago, and now he wanted Alice to suffer the same fate. The closer Alice reached the system core, the more dangerous Wonderland became. Reality warped constantly around her. Entire environments melted apart. Prisoners attacked each other violently during system failures. And worst of all, Alice slowly lost trust in her own memories. Sometimes she couldn't remember her parents' faces. Sometimes she forgot her own voice. That terrified her more than death itself. Because Wonderland didn't kill people, it erased them. Finally, Alice and Hatter reached the central core hidden beneath a distorted digital castle floating above the city. But waiting inside was the White Rabbit. For the first time, he stopped smiling, then calmly revealed the final truth. Alice really did commit the cybercrime years earlier, but not intentionally. The government secretly manipulated her university research into creating surveillance algorithms later weaponized against civilians. When Alice accidentally discovered the truth, they erased her before she could expose them. Everything shattered instantly, because now Alice understood something horrifying. Her own work helped create Wonderland. She wasn't just a victim, she helped build the prison herself. The realization nearly destroyed her completely. That's exactly what the White Rabbit wanted. Because broken minds stay trapped forever. But then Hatter said something unexpected. They only win if you forget who you are. Those words brought Alice back. For the first time since entering Wonderland, she stopped running from the truth. Instead, she accepted it. Yes, her work helped create the system, but now she could destroy it too. So while Hatter held off security programs flooding the core, Alice overloaded Wonderland's central server manually. Alarms screamed across the simulation instantly, buildings collapsed, the sky fractured apart, and prisoners everywhere finally started waking up. The White Rabbit watched silently as Wonderland died around him. Then finally, he smiled one last time, almost relieved. Moments later, the entire system collapsed permanently. When Alice opened her eyes again, she woke inside a hospital surrounded by flashing alarms and panicked officials. For the first time in years, Wonderland was gone. But weeks later, Alice still struggled sleeping, because sometimes late at night, she swore she still heard the White Rabbit whispering nearby. Welcome back to Wonderland. If you want more K-drama fairy tale reimaginings like this, subscribe to What If Tales and watch the next story where Wendy discovers the horrifying truth about Neverland. Because sometimes the most dangerous prisons in the world exist entirely inside your mind.